This love story begins with a girl named Tessa, and it is her first day at a brand new college that is a bit far away. Her mother and boyfriend decide to drop her off at her new college dorm. There she is introduced to two girls whose names are Steve, and next to her is Tristan.it. Is clear that these girls are very outgoing and very talkative. Her mother smells some weed and walks out of there, but Tessa follows her and asks her not to make a scene. She assures her to trust her on this one, as she promises her. Her mother is proud of her and wishes her well before leaving the college. Tessa's boyfriend also leaves after giving her a cute kiss. Tessa arrives back in her room, where Steve asks if she freaked out her mother. She thinks her brother is cute, but she corrects her by telling her he is her boyfriend. Steve leaves right after. The next morning, she wakes up and excitedly walks to her classroom, where she finds a guy named Landon, who is an English major, as opposed to Tessa, whose major is economics. She looks excited and enthusiastic about her classes. Back in her dorm, she comes back after taking a nice bath and finds a guy sitting inside the room, reading a book calmly. She is shocked to see him and asks him to leave, but he tells her not to flatten herself because he is not looking. Steve arrives and confirms that it is her friend. Steve asks her to come with them to a party, but the guy is sure that she won't join. Before leaving, he tells her the ending of the book she was reading, called The Great Gatsby, hence spoiling it. The next day, she is studying in the library and again sees the same guy. This makes her very uncomfortable while both catch each other's eyes for a moment. Later on, she is approached by Steve and asked to go to a party that night. She insists on not going, but she decides to change things a bit. Tessa chooses a dress to wear, and seeing it, Steve thinks it is a bit too formal. They are finally at the party where everyone is drinking and having fun. Later, Tessa is introduced to all of Steve's friends. There, they ask her to drink a little a tea first. She hesitates, but ends up drinking a shot right after a girl from the group talks rudely about her. They decide to play a game of truth or dare. Tessa chooses truth and is asked where the craziest place she had a romantic moment was. She decides to pass the question and chooses dare instead. The bad guy from the group comes and asks if she wants to do it, but she is done with the game and walks away. She calls her boyfriend, but he kind of scolds her for drinking and she ends the call. Later, she walks into an empty storage room and looks at the books. She is again approached by the bad guy who asks her what she was looking for. Tessa is worried if he is drunk, but he assures her that he does not drink, just like herself. He reveals to her that this is his room while holding her hand. He asks if their dare is still on. They are almost about to kiss, but she leaves after saying she cannot do it. While she walks back to her room, she gets texts from her boyfriend Noah at night before bed. The next day, she joins the class and finds the same guy called Hardin and sits with him. It is revealed that the guy from the party was also a newcomer whose name is Hardin Scott. When the professor asks a question about a romance book, he thinks love is just a transaction everyone is hardwired to desire. Present the correct set of desirable traits which can be turned on and off. On the other hand, Tessa contradicts him, stating that the women rejected the man in the book when treated poorly in the old era, which was just amazing. This goes on for a good minute, and Hardin meets her after class and tells her that it was exciting and leaves. She starts to complain to Landon that he is so arrogant. Right there, she is surprised to hear that Hardin is related to Landon. His mother is dating Hardin's father, and they barely tolerate each other. At night, Steve is getting a tattoo and asks Tessa to get a tattoo as well. She reveals that Noah is the only one she has ever dated, and her mother thinks they will marry one day. Before bed, she sees Steve having some romantic moments with her girl, and she moves her face away. The next day, she is getting coffee and is approached by Hardin. He is looking to start over and be friends since Steve is their mutual friend. Hardin wants to show her a place, but she wants to keep her distance. She is almost about to walk away, but decides to go with Hardin. They go a few miles away in his car to a place that looks like a jungle. They walk a little further where Tessa's eye catches a big lake. He reveals that this is his favorite place and asks her to swim. He takes off his clothes and jumps into the water. He insists on getting into the water and offers her his t-shirt. He looks away while she wears it. He slowly takes her into the water and starts enjoying it. Tessa asks him about the person he loves the most, to which he reveals himself. He asks about her boyfriend and gets to know he is a high school student who loves her. He makes her hold her breath and shows her a way of silence. Hardin looks at her like she is some kind of forbidden diamond he has found. He asks her if he wants to be friends, but he explains they can never be, and they start to kiss each other passionately. Afterward, he again moves his eyes so that she can change, but Tessa instead touches him, and they start to have romantic moments. Every touch she is experiencing makes her breathe faster. Later together, they go into a bar. Tessa asks him about his past life, but he decides to pass on the question. She asks why he does not believe in love because of the incident in class, but he tells her to not believe everything he says and makes Tessa laugh. Meanwhile, Steve and another friend of Hardin come and join him, to which he starts to act a bit odd. Later he reveals to Tessa that all of it was fun, but he does not date even though Tessa was about to tell about them to his boyfriend. Hardin looks a bit disappointed after she leaves. Back in her dorm in the morning, she finds Hardin sitting next to her. But this was just a dream. The next day, she finds her boyfriend standing outside with flowers. She cannot believe that he is there. Both Tessa and Noah join a party at night where Steve and her group decide to play the suck and blow game. When Tessa's turn comes, she does not participate, to which Noah acts a bit protective, while Hardin comes in the way and starts to fight. Hardin leaves right after. Later at night, Tessa is watching a movie with Noah, but is concerned about something. At tea night, she gets a call from Landon and goes to meet him. She finds out that Hardin and Landon had a fight, and he mentioned her name too, so she might be able to help him. She gets to know that he is upset about his father getting married to Landon's mother, while her mother lives in a dump back in London. He breaks the glass, and Tessa gets injured trying to pick it up. He takes her to his room and apologizes for how he treated her earlier. Hardin explains that he is a mess, to which Tessa also thinks that she is a mess. Seeing this, they both start to have small romantic moments. One thing leads to another, and she ends up sleeping throughout the night in his room. She walks up to Noah, who is really worried about her, right after he sees Hardin standing there and figures out what is really going on. He leaves right after. She walks back to her dorm, devastated, while being noticed by Molly. Tessa feels like she lost a best friend. What she is feeling cannot be described in simple words. She is very sad throughout her classes and tries to talk to Noah. One day, she sees Hardin outside and they decide to talk. He did not expect to see her. She starts to describe how her father left when she was just 10 years old. Her mother could not bear this pain when she was taking care of her. Noah was there to help. Noah is her best friend, but he is so much more, she reveals. One day, Hardin makes Tessa stay before the library closes. He reads a book while she is sitting in his lap. Security finds them and goes after them. They laugh while running away. This is going to be a memorable moment for both of them. Their relationship is getting noticed by their friends. Hardin would not even wait for her class and would come inside and call her beautiful. One day, Tessa notices Hardin writing something in the notebook. She wants to see it, but he teases her a lot. Not too long after, they start to have romantic moments. Suddenly, her mother opens the door and finds them in a revealing position. This is enough to make her super angry. She starts to accuse her roommate. She thinks Tessa will ruin her life because of a boy. Tessa starts to argue and tells her mother that she will live her life the way she wants to, and not how she wants to mold it. This makes her mother upset and emotional. Before leaving, she suggests that